Okay, so tell me your name.
Renee Lowe.
Renee, and how long have you been here?
14 years.
Okay, tell us a little bit about how that journey began.
Well, the journey began in a situation in an old job that I was at, and we were told that we were given this piece of paper, and we were told we had to come in for an emergency meeting because they were telling us that they had to change, hairstyles or appearance. They said appearance. So we figured maybe just being more professional, making sure your uniforms are clean or something like that. And then it turned into, as we read the paper, it turned into no locks, no braids, which I had, no aggressive hairstyles, whatever that is. And it was really shocking because I was the only sister working there at the time, and all eyes was on me. Everybody just turned and said, "What are you gonna do?" And it didn't sit right with me at all. This is before the whole natural movement and all of that. It didn't sit right with me, and I went home, I spoke to my parents about it, and I said, I really think I'm not gonna have a job because I'm not going to change that. I was transitioning under the protective style, having the braids, but it was before transitioning was even a thing, but I kept snipping off my relaxed ends. So I knew that was something that I wanted to do, and then I didn't want to change, and I just wanted to get back to the hair that God gave me, So that's how it began. That's where my natural hair journey began, and then once I transitioned, it was amazing. It was amazing. I just kept it going, and then I let go of the braids and just had my natural hair since then.
And about what time frame was that?
When everything started, when that first incident happened at that job, that was about 1996, going into like 97. And then, it was just an ongoing battle. Like, it was to the point that we were taking the parent company to court to reverse things, and it was just a place that I just knew that I didn't want to be anymore while all of that was going on. So I ended up leaving in 98 and moving to DC and getting my first corporate job out of college, and I was able to be myself. That company was very inclusive. You could have whatever. They just wanted your talent. So it was a very different scene, going from a place telling you that you can't have braids and you can't have locks because it's somehow unprofessional, going to a place that allowed you to be yourself. So just since then.
So what were some of your preconceived notions about being natural before you actually went natural?
That's a good question. I thought it was going to be extremely hard because I didn't really know my own texture. I remember my natural hair when I was growing up, maybe up until about 10 years old, and I think like 11 or 12 is when I got my first kitty relaxer, because I started to kind of do my own hair. Girls start kind of doing their own hair at that time. And I guess your mom just figures you're not going to be able to handle it. Because I remember having the big afro. I have pictures from when I was young, when I had the big afro and, as a child. But I never thought about how difficult it was to do. Or I just remember sitting down like all the girls do. Sit down at your mama's feet, and she cornrows your hair, puts little beads on the end, So I guess my main thing was it's going to be so tough to deal with. And it really wasn't. Like, as soon as I found my regimen and what worked for me, it was like, it wasn't any different than being relaxed, because being relaxed, you had to be so careful that your hair didn't break off. I know a lot of relaxed women have that horrible breakage, there's always somebody that has that story of the horrible breakage, so almost looking like a big chop. So I never went through that, thank God, but I just knew it was something that I just didn't want to relax anymore. So this was definitely the way that I wanted to go.
So what kind of advice would you give to women who are thinking about becoming natural?
The advice that I would say is to learn your hair. Learn and here's one thing about me, I don't hair type. I don't do the 4B, the 4C, because first of all, I have 3C in the back. I got 4A, and whatever. I got all different types of textures all over my head. So I don't hair type. That's one thing. I tell the ladies in my natural hair group, I was like, don't hair type. Just find what works for your hair. Learn your hair. Is it high porosity? Is it low porosity? Maybe you're good with proteins. Some other women are not good with proteins. So you just have to find what works for your hair.
Thank you very much. Well, actually, I do want to talk about it. So you started a company that kind of integrates natural hair into it. Kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, the first company I started was an event planning company because I was always great at organizing and putting things together. I would do people's events and all of that, so I just put that together with what I went to school for, was communications and PR. And I learned that I loved working with small businesses, which is how really the natural hair journey started and the business started, because I wanted to help people not feel trapped in the company that they were working for. They not feel like they had to take the pay cut. They be their own boss, and they didn't. I felt like somebody was holding on to my paycheck saying, well, you're not going to get a paycheck anymore if you don't change your hair and you don't change your appearance, the thing that naturally God gave you, So I never wanted to feel trapped like that again. So I said, okay, I'm going to start my own company. I'm going to build that up, and then I'm going to teach other small businesses how to do that as well, because I used to get a lot of questions. How did you do it? How did you leave your 9-to-5 job? All of that. So I found a niche there. So the event planning side just turned into Blackberry Naturals about almost 4 years ago. And I just love doing events, and I go to natural hair events all the time. And I said, well, why not do natural hair events? Why not have my own conference every year and get people involved? So that turned into the piece of my main business of Onyx Clean Media into Blackberry Naturals, as in natural entrepreneurs, ladies, who are dealing with natural hair. They have natural products, natural t-shirts. We see all those different, fro t-shirts and pillows and all that sort of stuff. So that's the type of people that we do, events with.
So if people want to get involved with your organization, what you're doing, how do they find out?
They can just go to blackberrynaturals.com and they will find all the information. They can follow us on social media, Instagram. We just did our conference, so if you want to see all that we had at the conference, our swag bag that we had with all the great sponsors and everything, just look for Blackberry Naturals on social media and you'll find us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.